At 7:13 right now, the Department of Hawaiian Homeland is hoping to purchase an apartment complex on Kauai to house families on the Homeland's wait list. Silver Beat's Blaze Lavelle did a story out this morning explaining why that has proved to be difficult, maybe more difficult than expected. And Blaze, we're talking about the courtyards at Waipouli complex. Why is this complex so coveted in the first place?
Yeah, so this is part of the department's new plan to try to go after some rental properties or build rentals as a way to get people off the wait list sooner. The idea is that, you know, if you don't have the money for a house or a home lot or enough money to build your own home, if you can get into a rental, you know, on one of the DHHL properties, maybe then you can start building up some equity where you can eventually either buy that place or, you know, have your own home.
Yeah, and I think you made a note of the different varieties of apartments that are in here. You have, what, one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom?
Three bedrooms, yeah.
And the rents could be relatively cheap as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of problems are they seeing?
Well, so the rents are going to be cheap because they're going after these things called low-income housing tax credits, and that's all approved by the state housing agency. But in this current round, which is set to be approved tomorrow, it doesn't look like the Waipouli project is going to get the funding that they need to move forward through this sale agreement that they have. Now, yesterday, the DHHL director, Kali Watson, told me that, you know, they're still eligible for another round of tax credits later on this year, but that's going to really run into the sales timeline that they already have set out.
Yeah. The history of this is really interesting, too, because you made mention that initially the plan was to buy this and make it housing for the kupuna. That fell through. So it's just really, but in the meantime, all of this is happening, and yet the current residents may not have been informed as to what was going on. You spoke to some of the residents that are there at Waipouli. What have they heard?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, you know, they got this letter laying out their rights that, you know, if you're evicted, here's what you're entitled to. But they said that no one from the state's gone around and told them, you know, hey, here's what's happening with the sale. Here's what DHHL wants to do. They told me that they're largely been kept in the dark. And a lot of them are worried that they're not going to be able to find housing on Kauai because there's just not a lot of it available. And, you know, one a lady told me that, you know, she's thinking about maybe moving to the Big Island because they just know that there isn't enough rental housing on the island.
Well, what's also interesting, so you spoke to them, but at the same time, you also spoke to people that are on the DHHL wait list. And so do they want apartments? I know everybody wants a single-family home, but is this even ideal for them?
Yeah, the reaction, according to some surveys from different groups and the department, has been a little mixed. Some of the wait listers I talked to said they don't want to live in an apartment, and, you know, they don't think the rentals are a good idea. One is Joe Kali. He lives in Kekaha. He's been on the wait list since the 90s, you know, and he said he's willing to stay on that wait list until he can get a residential lot that he applied for all those years ago. Yeah,
that says a lot. Very interesting read, though, Blaze. Thank you. Thank you for coming in and clearing things up. We appreciate it. By the way, you can check it out on the website. It's silverbeat.org or text 66866 to get their newsletter. We'll be right back.